All right. So, sorry once again for the class that was stopped on Saturday morning because of a mix-up in the class schedules. All right. So, this is just a continuation of cost of capital that we have had before. So far, we are done with all the explanation of cost of capital concepts. So, today, in our next class, certainly we are going to complete traditional work. Then we then spend our last class to discuss project specific cost of capital as well as weighted average cost of capital of the combined activities. Okay. However, uh, some hours ago, as you have seen, ICANN released on social media the exam dates for the November diet exam. All right. So the date for the November diet exam. So please, guys, as you can see, the marathon has entered the next year. All right. All this while, since the beginning of this diet till date, all you have been doing is to just test the mic. Okay. So this is the now for you to now settle down for real business because the judgment date has been set. So it is now left for you to know where you belong. Because whether you are going to hell or heaven or paradise, right? Whether you are going to hell or paradise, you are going to work for the two, right? It's not for free. Hell is not free. Paradise is also not free. Therefore, I'm encouraging you. If if anything, right? If anything, even if you don't consider the money you are spending for lecture and then for your exam and exemption and all other expenses you are going to incur because of ICANN certification, you have to consider the pain, all right? The pain, the stress, the sacrifice of every night of attending classes. So you have to make them count. ICANN has told you that this November exam will be written starting November 10th through November 12th. So ICANN wants to prepare you for the Christmas. Yes, that is the intention of ICANN. They have other programs they want to do. That's why they reduce the timing to second week, which is okay. The calendar is okay. So it is now left for you to take your study very seriously. If you are going to have a beneficial outcome at the end of by December, by third week in December, when your exam result will be released, then you have to start the journey now. There's no time for you to be gallivanting here and there. This is not the time for you to be playing around. You have to get serious. Remember when we started, I told you to design your ICANN goal. You have to set that your ICANN goal. Your ICANN goal is to pass this exam that you want to write. My people, now is the time for you to get down to work. Don't wait for any lecturers to come and take you before you read or before you study, because the onus is on you. Lecturer can only try to guide you. They can teach you anything that you need to succeed. If you don't read, if you don't study them, there's no way you can achieve your aim. Therefore, make your effort count. Make your effort count. I said, make your effort count. This is because your result will be released few days to Christmas. You have to make it a double joy. When you pass your result, you'll be very happy. You are going to eat chicken. You will drink juice. You will celebrate. You will invite friends to come and celebrate your result with you. But if otherwise, each time if you are eating your chicken, you are eating your fried rice or jollof rice. When you when you just remember the result, in fact, the mood will change. Therefore, for you to have a good mood, for you to have a joyous celebration when your result is released, this is time for you to make it count. Start working now. Start working now. So please, this is not the time for you to be playing around. Avoid social media. Use have a minimum use of social media from this moment on, except you want to research on your study. Other than that, because social media will waste your time. So guys, time is going. ICAN has already given you the judgment day. And I pray that God Almighty will guide you aright. It will help you. It will make this exam that you want to write very easy for you. So that at the end of the day, it will be a win-win. When we ask you, without even asking you, you have to show your results. Go to the group, celebrate, show your result, then we rejoice with you. Then we also be happy that we contributed to your success. This is what we want from you. We're not asking you to build us a house or to take us on vacation or whatever. We just want to see you succeed. That's all. And you have to make us proud. You have to make us proud. And that's why in the class, we are going to do our best. You can't get anything less than the high quality lecturing that you deserve. So it is now your responsibility to read. May God guide you aright. So let the class begins. Let it begins. Okay, so for the benefit of those that are just joining the class, so we are going to begin calculate. We have done all relevant explanation of the concept of cost of capital. This is my first topic from day one because I mentioned it that cost of capital will take us minimum of 5 periods. All right. So we have done 3. Today is the 4th lecture day. Therefore, we started with cost of capital. We have discussed the introduction to cost of capital, the significance of cost of capital. We talked about categories of cost of capital, whereby we discuss cost of equity, how to estimate cost of preference share, cost of debenture, cost of debt, and at the same time, cost of convertible securities. We then proceeded last week to discuss the weighted average cost of capital, right? So now, all our explanation from day one to date, this is time for you to put them to practice. So on that day, when you are given question and you notice that you are asked to calculate cost of capital, this is the thing that you want to do, all right? And like I mentioned when we started, this cost of capital is foundational to almost all the quantitative topics in in financial management. Therefore, you must be ready. All right. So you have to understand the basics, all the underlying concepts of cost of capital, so that however examiner is coming out to you, you'll be able to do justice to the question. So let the class begin. So I will need one of you to read for us. So as we are solving the question, I will be bringing to bear all relevant concepts that relate to each of them, just to remind you and for the benefit of those that are just joining. So we'll be able to go through it together. Yes, I need somebody to read this question for us. Who is going to read it? Raise your hand if you are willing to. If not, I will select one of you. Nancy, go ahead. Thank you.
Courage PLC is a manufacturer of collapsible furniture located in Abakaliki. The company is trying to decide on the cost of capital to use for the evaluation of a prospective investment project. The company has an issued share capital of 500,000 ordinary share of 1 naira each, currently quoted at 1 naira 17 kobo per share, cum div. It has also issued 200,000 naira of 10% debenture, which are redeemable at par in 2 years' time, with a current market value of 105 naira 3 kobo and 100,000 naira of 6% preference share, currently quoted at 40k per share. The preference dividend and the ordinary dividend, including the debenture interest, are due to be paid soon. The ordinary share dividend will be 60,000 naira this year, and the directors have publicized their view that the earnings and dividend will increase into the indefinite future. The company's current earning is 500,000 naira, while the capital employed is 5 million naira. The fixed assets and working capital of the company are financed as follows, which the tables are given below. The company tax rate is 40%, payable 1 year in arrears. Required, advise the management of Courage PLC on the appropriate cost of capital to use for its investments. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nancy. Yes, this is the question. Our examiner is asking you to advise the management of Courage PLC on the appropriate cost of capital to use for its investments. So this is the requirements. You are asked to calculate appropriate cost of capital. One thing you need to understand is that the cost of capital must be appropriate and consistent with the risk associated with a project. So, since you are calculating cost of capital, you then need to ask yourself, what kind of cost of capital am I going to calculate? Because from the requirements, you have to calculate cost of capital, right? So, which of them? Am I calculating traditional WACC? Am I supposed to calculate project-specific WACC? Or is it WACOCA, that is weighted average cost of capital of the combined activities? So you have to know which of them you are supposed to calculate. In our explanation so far, we started with traditional weighted average cost of capital. And we said that traditional WACC is computed when information about capital structure, that is, if you are given ordinary share capital, preference share capital, and debt capital, including dividend and interest, then in that case, you are expected to calculate traditional WACC. When you look at this question, this is the statement of financial position of this company, and you are given capital structure, ordinary share capital, 500,000 naira. Okay? You are given 6% preference share to be 100,000 naira. You are also given the debenture to be 200,000 naira. So with this information, I can clearly see that we are going to calculate traditional weighted average cost of capital because we are given information about capital structure. We are also given dividend, ordinary dividend of 60,000. All right. So we have preference dividend, which is going to be 6% of the nominal value of 1 naira. Right. So you are also given interest. We are given interest, okay, of 10%, 10% debenture. So these are the information you look out for in a question for you to know which of them am I going to calculate. So when you see this kind of information, you need nobody to tell you that you are supposed to calculate traditional weighted average cost of capital. All right. So if that is the case, let's solve it. We said that to calculate traditional WACC, there are 4 steps you are supposed to carry out. The first step is to calculate cost of equity. Step number 2, you compute cost of preference share. Step number 3, you determine cost of debt. Then step number 4, you calculate traditional WACC. It's as simple as that. No matter how big is the question, it's no more than that, those 4 procedures. Take it one by one. You must know how to calculate cost of equity, cost of preference share, cost of debt, then finally WACC. WACC would be very simple. WACC is straightforward. The challenge is your ability to get the cost of equity, cost of preference share, and cost of debt correctly. Once you're able to do that, then every other thing will fall into places for you. It's as simple as that. So let's solve this question, then quickly we'll move to the next one. Hopefully within the next 1 hour, we are going to be done with this. Let's move to the next page. Okay, so we want to calculate. The name of this company is Courage PLC. An examiner is asking you to calculate appropriate cost of capital. So step 1 is to calculate cost of equity. You then say calculating cost of equity. denoted as KE. Now, how do you calculate cost of equity? We said that cost of equity can be calculated depending on the method that you want to use. There are three methods of calculating cost of equity. You can use dividend valuation model, capital asset pricing model, as well as the Miller and Modigliani formula. And I said that the Miller and Modigliani formula is out of your scope. We are not going to use it these days because when you get to professional level, strategic financial management, you are going to do adjusted present value. That is when we are going to use the Miller and Modigliani formula. Now, the second one, which is capping, capital asset pricing model, is a topic on its own, which we are going to dissect when we get is. So for now, we are not going to talk about capital asset pricing model, except briefly, if you have a question that relates to calculating cost of equity using capping. Then the first method, which is using dividend valuation model, is our focus. And we said that dividend valuation model is used to calculate cost of equity when information about dividend and share price are given, and it is computed as the ratio of dividend to ex-dividend share price, depending on whether or not there is growth in dividend payments. So in this particular question, we are given dividend, we are also given share price of 1 naira 17 kobo. In that case, we are going to calculate, all right? We are going to calculate cost of equity using dividend valuation model. So, and using dividend valuation model, there are two different formulas that you can use to calculate your cost of equity, depending on whether or not you are given growth rate, right? So you first thing first, before you write down your formula, you need to check from the question if you are given growth rate. Okay, if you are told dividend will increase, like in this question, when Nancy was reading it, examiner has told you that earnings and dividend will increase into indefinite future. The fact that examiner told you that earnings and dividend will increase does not mean that there's growth in dividend payment. What will tell you that there's growth is if you are given information that will enable you to calculate the growth rate, or if the growth rate is given to you. So in this particular question, we are not given growth rate, okay? We are not given growth rates. Evelyn, please always mute yourself. So we are not given growth rate, but the examiner has told you in the question that the company's current earnings is 500,000 naira and capital employed is 5 million naira. So remember, I told you there are two methods of calculating growth rates. The first method is historical pattern of dividend payments. And we said that the historical pattern of dividend payment is used, all right? The historical pattern of dividend payment is used when past information about dividend payment are given. When you are given the amount of dividend paid in all the relevant years, then in that case, you are supposed to use the historical pattern of dividend payment. Then the second method, which is Gordon growth model. We said that Gordon growth model is used to calculate growth rates when information about earnings and capital employed are given in a question. So in this particular question, we are given earnings to be 500,000 naira and then capital employed to be 5 million naira. So in that case, that means we are going to calculate growth rate using the Gordon growth model. Now, we have identified in this question that to calculate cost of equity, we are going to use dividend valuation model. And because we have been given information about earnings as well as the capital employed, that means there is growth in dividend payment, and we are going to use the Gordon growth model. So quickly, let's begin to do the calculation. So I will then come here. Since there is growth in dividend payment, let me see. Instead of writing the formula afresh, let me just go up there. I've written it before. This is a complete note, complete class work that we have done previously. So let me just copy, instead of me to be writing formula all over again, looking for, yeah. What are the formula? Where are you? Yes, this is it. So this is the formula we are going to use. And we also need formula to calculate growth rates. The Gordon, let me see. Which one? Okay, let me just copy. We are going to need all of this. So this will make life easy. I'm going to need all of this. So instead of looking for formula to use again, get out. Okay. Sorry about that. I just have to, for that to be faster. Okay. This will come as my workings. All right. So I will need that information later on. So now I want to calculate. What is the formula for my, oh, I only copied the second one. See you, wasting my time. All right. This is it here. Cost of equity where there's growth. This is where there's no growth. Oh, did I delete it? Error. Nancy, why now? It appears I deleted it. Oh. Let me go back. Let me go back. I thought I copied it. Not knowing that historical pattern, not yet. Where are you? Why is it again? What happened? Anyway, if I can't find it again, I have to write it. Let me just check. It's not here again. No. In any case, let me just copy this one. Oh, something happened here. This is it here. Something happened. In any case, let me just copy this. I will rewrite it later. Oh, yeah. Sorry for the break in transmission. I was just trying to, okay. Instead of me to be doing copy one by one, calculating cost of capital, I wanted to copy everything at once. Cost of equity rather. Okay then. So to calculate cost of equity, because there's growth in dividend payments, so it will then be equal to cost of equity is calculated as current dividend multiplied by 1 plus growth rates. All right, multiplied by 1 plus growth rates, then plus, okay, plus the growth rates, then all of this multiplied by 100%. Let me see if this guy will allow me to put brackets. That was the thing I was trying to avoid. I know it's already gray. It will not allow. Anyway, so let me just put normal brackets. All right. So multiply by 100%. So this is the formula for calculating growth rate. Therefore, I will then come here. Cost of egg. I will then go to the question. What is the current dividend? According to the question, we are given current dividend of 60,000 naira. Okay, so our dividend is absolute value. We are given total dividend of 60,000 naira. So I have options. I can either use absolute value or I use par value. Whichever one I use, I'm going to get the same answer, irrespective. So let me demonstrate the two for you. Anyone that is more convenient for you is what you should use. However, on the day of your exam, don't go and be demonstrating using the two methods. All right, it's a waste of time because examiner will only mark one for you. So our current dividend is 60,000 naira. Therefore, if I'm using absolute value, then the formula to use to calculate my cost of equity would then be the total dividend. This will be total dividend, total current dividend divided by market value of equity. Okay, X dividend market value. Let's call it X dividend market value. So that is total market value. So in this case, I will then come here. Let me just copy the first one that I've written before. All right. So according to the question, dividend is 60,000 naira. So this one will be 60,000. That's our total dividend. 60,000. Then we need growth rates. We don't know what the growth rate is. We also need total market value of equity. We need total market value of equity. All right. Therefore, let's go and do workings. I can then say workings. Working number one, we want to calculate growth rates. Growth rates. How do you compute your growth rate? We have identified from the question that we are going to use Gordon growth model because we are given information about earnings and capital employed. So calculating growth rate using Gordon growth model. Okay. So using Gordon growth model, so using Gordon growth model, G, that is growth rates, is calculated as return on investment multiplied by retention rates, R multiplied by B. Okay. What is R? Where R equal to return on investments or return on capital employed. Then B equal to retention rates. All right, this is what we discussed last time during the first day class. Okay, so that's that. Therefore, what this simply means is that we then need to, for us to be able to calculate the growth rate, we need to go and calculate return on investment as well as the retention rate. So I will then come here, R equal to, how do we calculate return on investments? We said that return on investment is computed, right? Return on investment is computed as earnings divided by capital employed. Okay, this is computed as earnings divided by capital employed. All right. So then multiply by 100%. Multiply by 100%. So this is the formula for calculating return on investments. Okay, so I can then copy this. So according to the question, our return on capital employed, earnings in the question, we are given 500,000 naira. Here is 500,000. Then capital employed, we are given 5 million naira. So multiply by 100%. This will give us R is equal to 10%. Okay, so we have calculating return on investments. We then need to calculate retention rates. B, which is retention rates, is computed as earnings minus dividend divided by earnings. So let me just copy this. Okay, retention rate is computed as earnings minus total dividend divided by earnings. Of course, at times, examiner can give to you earnings per share. So if you are given earnings per share, then it will be earnings per share minus dividend per share divided by earnings per share. All right. At times also, examiner can give to you dividend payout ratio. So if you are given dividend payout ratio and you want to calculate retention rate, it will be 1 minus dividend payout ratio. So our retention rate will be 1 minus dividend payout ratio. So that's that. Okay then. So let me copy this. So according to the question, earnings is 500,000 naira. Somebody should go ahead and be doing the calculation. Use your calculator and be giving me the numbers. Minus 600,000, sorry, minus 60,000, then divided by 500,000. So what do we have here? What's the final answer? 440 divided by 500. 88%.
88%.
Thank you. This is 88%. So retention rate is 88%. We have calculated return on capital employed to be 10%. We calculated retention rate to be 88%. We can then proceed. Therefore, let me use therefore sign symbol. Where are you? Where are you now? Yes. So therefore, B is it. That's not what I wanted to do. Therefore, B is equal to, G, growth rates is equal to retention rate of 10%, that is R, multiplied by B. So G would then be equal to, R is 10%, multiplied by 88%, or multiplied by 100%. That means our G is equal to 8.8%. G is equal to 8.8%. So G is approximately, let me use approximation sign. Get out. Approximation. Okay. So G is approximately 9%. So this is how to calculate growth rates using the Gordon growth model. This is how to calculate growth rates using the Gordon growth model. All right. So now that we know that our growth rate is equal to 9%, we can then proceed with our calculation. Okay, we can then proceed with our calculation. So I will then come back here. G is 9%. So that's 0.09. Okay. Then we also need to go and calculate total market value of equity because we are using absolute value method. Therefore, let's go to working number 2. This is working number 1. All right. Then working number 2. Okay, let's calculate dividend per share first. So dividend, we are going to need dividend per share, DPS. How do you calculate dividend per share? Dividend per share is computed as total dividend. Let me copy. Dividend per share is computed as total dividend. Let me put it down. Total dividend. Right. Then divided by number of ordinary shares. Number of ordinary shares. All right. So that is the formula for calculating dividend per share. Okay, so this is working number 2. Now, let me remove both. So, I will then come down here. According to the question, total dividend is 60,000 naira as given to us. So here will be 60,000 naira. Then, number of ordinary shares. Let's go to the question and identify number of ordinary shares. According to the question, we are told that the company has an issue share capital of 500,000 ordinary shares of 1 naira. Okay, so number of ordinary shares is 500,000. So here will be 500,000. 500,000 shares. All right. So what do we have here? 60,000 divided by 500,000.
0.12.
0.12. Thank you. Let me see. Somebody is sending me the charts. A lot of formula. Okay. Okay then. So dividend per share is 12 kobo. All right. Then let's move to working number 3. I want to calculate market value of equity. All right. Before that, I need to calculate ex-dividend share price because we are told in this question that the market price of ordinary shares is 1 naira 17 kobo per share, cum div. So when you are given cum div share price, it means that this 1 naira 17 kobo includes dividend. You don't use share price that include dividend. It has to be ex-dividend share price. Therefore, you need to deduct, right? You need to deduct the current dividend from the cum div share price for you to have the ex-dividend share price. So let's move to working number 3. We want to calculate ex-dividend share price. Ex-dividend share price. Okay, so how do you calculate ex-dividend share price? We said that ex-dividend share price is computed as cum dividend share price minus current dividend. Okay. So if that is the case, I will then go back to the question. The cum div share price given to us is 1 naira 17 kobo, right? Then dividend per share, we have calculated dividend per share to be 12 kobo. Okay, 0.12. Therefore, what's our ex-dividend share price? This will then be 1 naira 5 kobo. That's it. That's it. This is working number 3. So like I explained to you in our first day class, when we are having cost of equity, you don't use cum dividend share price. It has to be ex-dividend share price. Therefore, to get the ex-dividend share price, you deduct current dividend from the cum div share price. So the difference will give you the ex-dividend share price. So now that we have the ex-dividend share price to be 1 naira 5 kobo, we can then proceed to calculate the total market value of equity so that we can complete our cost of equity. So I will then come here, market value. Remember what I told you. Anytime you want to calculate weighted average cost of capital, you have to use the market value method. Don't use the book value, except examiner asks you to use book value, because market value is the price that incorporates current market information, and it is the most acceptable method of calculating WACC. Okay, because market value is the price determined by the market forces of demand and supply. Okay, the interaction of market participants, the price determined by the interaction of market participants. That is what is known as market value. And at all times when you are calculating your cost of capital, you must use the market value method. Don't use book value except you are asked to use it. Move on from here. So we want to calculate equity value, market value of equity. Let me just call it equity value, denoted as E. Okay, denoted as E. I'm running away from, okay. So let me remove this. And we said that market value of equity is computed as number of ordinary shares, multiplied by X dividend. Okay, multiplied by X dividend share price. Somebody was sending a chart that too much formulas. So Yoruba will say, I don't know. So to before one is to before ham, Abi. I've told you ab initio that you can't do so much. You can't know financial management if you cannot master formulas. That is why FM is unique. It's different from any other subject. It is formula driven. Financial management is formula driven. So if you cannot master formula, then you can't do so much. You can't do so much. Nobody will help you on the day of your exam. You have to help yourself, because when you are in the exam hall, you are going to be on your own. Nobody will see you. All right. Nobody sees you when you're in the exam hall. You're on your own. Therefore, start mastering the formulas now. On each lecture day, any new formula you have learned, make sure that you master them so that you can retain it in your memory. If you don't practice it, it will disappear. All right. Your first approach on each lecture day, your first approach will be to master all the formulas on that particular topic. Master the formulas. Then once you master and you get it correctly, you'll be very happy. In fact, you will want to test it. You want to practice it. Go and be looking for questions so that you can test it. That's the way it works. If you master new formulas, and if you learn new formula, you don't put it into practice, you don't close your book, rewrite it on your own, you are going to forget it. All right. So that's the way it works. Practice makes perfect. So let's move on from here. Therefore, equity value is equal to number of ordinary shares is 500,000. We have 500,000 shares. Then multiply by, we have calculated X dividend share price to be 1 naira 5 kobo. So give it to me. What do you have here, please?
525,000.
525,000 naira. So this is total market value of equity. This is total market value of equity. So let's do it once and for all. In the question, we also have preference share. So let's calculate market value of preference share. All right. Value or market value of preference share. All right. Preference share. So it's the same thing. It's the same formula. So just come here. All right. So market value of preference share denoted as P, because we are going to need this when we get to calculation of WACC. Now, I will then go back to the question. Am I given number of preference shares? Let's go and check. We are not given number of preference share. We are given preference share 100,000 naira. When you look at the capital structure also, it is given as 100,000 naira. So that means you are given share capital. So share capital divided by nominal value or nominal price will give you a number of ordinary shares, because this one is very straightforward, because this is 100,000 naira and then the nominal value per share is 1 naira. So you can easily say it is 100,000 shares. What if the nominal value is 25 kobo or 50 kobo or 40 kobo or 75 kobo? So what do? That's why we have to apply the right formula. So let's use the normal formula to calculate this. So this will then be equal to, I will come here, this will be share capital divided by nominal price. This is the formula I gave to you when I was giving the notes. Okay. Then multiply by X dividend share price. Okay, multiply by X dividend share price. So in this case, I already have, let me just copy this once and for all. So remove this, I don't need it again. Now, the share capital is 100,000 naira. Nominal price is 1 naira. Okay. Then multiply by X dividend share price. So what this simply means is that we need to go and calculate X dividend share price. However, we need to go back to the question and confirm whether preference dividend is given, whether preference dividend has been paid or not. So according to the question, the examiner told you that the preference dividend and ordinary dividend, including debenture interest, are due to be paid soon. That means that the dividend of 6%, the preference dividend of 6% is outstanding. So if preference dividend is outstanding, it means that this share price, this preference share price is cum div share price. So we need to convert it to X dividend share price. So let me just copy this. Let me make it working number 4. You see the way we have abandoned our formula since, because what we are looking for is not in the question. Okay? So this is where you are supposed to do it. So before the, okay, let me just make it X dividend preference share. X dividend preference share price. So which is the same formula, cum div share price minus current dividend. So we need to calculate. Let me go to working number 6. We are going to have working number 5 for X interest price, then working number 6 for preference dividend, per share. Just the same way we calculated ordinary dividend per share. So you also have preference dividend per share. So PDP. This is PDPS. All right. Working number, let me call it working number, whatever. I'll come back to that later. But for now, PDPS. Now, I told you when I was explaining the concepts, I said that preference dividend is the coupon rate multiplied by the nominal value. Okay, to get the preference dividend, it will always come in percentage. All right, so preference dividend is nominal rates nominal rate multiplied by nominal value. So that will give you the amount of dividend that the preference shareholders will earn from the business. Okay, so if that is the case, I will then come down here. PDPS is equal to, the nominal rate is 6% preference share multiplied by nominal value of 1 naira. That means the preference shareholders are entitled to 6 kobo. All right, they are entitled to 6 kobo per share. Okay, so preference dividend is 6 kobo. Let me hold this. So I can then come here. This is 6 kobo. Sorry, X dividend. We are yet to calculate X dividend. Okay, this is it here. So the cum dividend share price is 40 kobo, 0.40, according to the question. Look at it here. The share price, the preference share price is 34 kobo. All right, look at it. We are told that preference share, 6% preference share currently quoted at 40 kobo per share. So the market price of this preference share is 40 kobo. The dividend the company is supposed to pay to the preference shareholder is 6% of 1 naira, and we have calculated that to be 6 kobo. All right, so this 40 kobo includes dividend of 6 kobo. So you need to deduct the element of dividend. Therefore, it will be 40 kobo minus 6 kobo. That will be 34 kobo. So X dividend share price will be 34 kobo. So I will come here, right? 40 kobo minus 0.06. So this will give us 0.34. You see the way we are making adjustments, okay? So to now get the preference dividend per, of course, we've already calculated preference dividend per share. If you like, you can say this is working number. I don't know if they're working yet, but I'm still going to do one more. Let me just call this one working number X dividend share price. We're going to do interest. So let's call it working number 6. All right. So this is working number 6. So we are going to have working number 5 as X interest price, because we are told in the question that the debenture interest has not been paid. So we need to calculate X interest price. We are going to need X interest price. All right, that will be working number 5. Okay. All right, we'll come back to that one later. But for now, we can then proceed. So we have gotten all that we need to calculate our cost of equity. So you can see we abandoned this for over 15 minutes ago because we need to make adjustments. So the market value we have computed is 525,000 naira, market value of equity. I think that is working number, let me check again. Working number, is it 4? Let me go and check. Market value of equity. So working number 4, yes, correct. This is market value of equity. Okay. So somebody should give me the final answer. Or let me just do one. Okay, this is growth. 0.09. Let me copy this. Bring it down. So 60,000 multiplied by 1.09 divided by 525,000 equal plus 0.09 equal multiplied by 100%. What's your final answer? Please give it to me. Nancy, what's your final answer? On my own?
21.46.
21.4, that's approximately 21 Okay, that is approximately 21%. Okay, so the cost of equity of Courage PSC is approximately 21%. Now, remember I told you, you can either use absolute value or you use par value. Whichever one you use, you are going to get the same answer. All right. Therefore, we use, in this our calculation, we use absolute value, right? Because we use 60,000 naira for dividend, we use 525,000 naira for market value. So let's use the par value. So I will just copy the formula again. I will say alternatively, like I told you earlier on, don't go and be demonstrating too much skills. Okay, because I know how to use absolute value, I can also use power value, and then you are demonstrating the two for your examiner to show skill. You are just wasting your time. You are still doing that. Your colleague, your other colleagues are already solving other questions. So don't do that. Okay. So, but for the purpose of this class, and to ensure that you understand it, let me just give you another way you can calculate it. So alternatively, using power value. So this one is absolute value. Here we use absolute value or total value, whichever one. All right. Here we use absolute value. If you want to use power value, that's what I just want to show you now. So my cost of equity will then be equal to current dividend, which is dividend per share, current dividend per share, multiplied by 1 plus growth rate, divided by X dividend share price. Okay, all right. So I can then copy this. So dividend per share, we have calculated dividend per share to be 12 kobo, 0.12. That's our working number 2. Okay. Then our ex dividend share price is 1 naira 5 kobo. I think that's working number 3, Abby. This is working number 3. So let me confirm. Working number 3 is what? Yes, this is it here. So the next we need to do, so just get the final answer. It's as simple as that. So by the time you multiply, so you should have the same thing as 21%. All right. So whether you use absolute value or you use power value, you are going to get the same answer. Okay. So next item, step 2. Remember, we are calculating WACC. The first step we said is to calculate cost of equity. That's what we just did. So we have calculated cost of equity. Okay. Then step 2, we need to calculating cost of preference share. You only calculate cost of preference share if in the question you have preference share. If you don't have preference share, you ignore it. This is denoted as KP. All right. So how do you calculate cost of preference share? Pay attention, please. The first thing you need to ask yourself is that what kind of preference share is this one? Is it redeemable preference share or irredeemable preference share? Let's go back to the question. Examiner has told you that the company has 100,000 naira 6% preference share, currently quoted at 40 kobo per share. All right. So the examiner did not tell you that the preference share will be redeemed. You are not given the redemption dates. So if you are not given the redemption dates, it will be calculated as cost of irredeemable preference share. And we said that cost of irredeemable preference share is computed as the ratio of fixed dividend to ex dividend share price. So quickly, let's calculate this. So let me just copy this. I will just use 1. All right, I will use 1. So I don't need to, I've already demonstrated for you how to use either absolute value or power value. So this is KP, cost of irredeemable preference share. Let me mention irredeemable in your calculation or in our calculation. The reason why we did not calculate redeemable is because you are not given the redemption date. Therefore, you have to calculate cost of irredeemable. So when you are calculating preference share, there's nothing like growth, right? You don't have growth in preference share. It is fixed. So you are going to have fixed dividend divided by X dividend share price, nothing like growth. Okay, that's it. This is the formula for calculating cost of irredeemable preference share. I can then copy this. So the fixed dividend we have calculated is 6 kobo. All right, it's 6 kobo, which is working number. What is that? Working number 6. Yes, dividend per share is 6 kobo. That's working number 6. So that we know, you will know how we got the numbers. Then X dividend share price. I think that's working number 4. No? X dividend share price. Yes, working number 4, which is 34 kobo. All right. X dividend preference share. That's working number 4, which is 34 kobo. 0.34. Working number 4. All right. Then when you multiply with 100%, what do you get? Give it to me, please.
17.6%.
17.6%. That's approximately 18%. That's it. Step 3, we calculate cost of debenture. In the balance sheet, in the capital structure of Courage PLC, we also have debenture of 200,000 naira. So you then need to ask yourself, what kind of debenture is this one? Is it redeemable or irredeemable? According to the question, we are told that the company also has 200,000 naira of 10% debenture, which are redeemable at par in 2 years' time. The fact that examiner call it redeemable does not make it a redeemable debt. What makes it redeemable is if you are given the redemption date. You are told that this debenture will be redeemed at par in 2 years' time. 2 years' time, in 2 years' time, this debenture will be redeemed at par. So because you are given the maturity date or redemption date, then you can calculate cost of redeemable debenture. And I said that to calculate cost of redeemable debenture, simply go ahead and calculate internal rate of return. Okay? How do you calculate internal rate of return? 2 steps. The first step, you assume 2 discount rates that will produce 2 opposing NPV. Then step 2, you go ahead and calculate cost of redeemable debt using the internal rate of return formula. It's as simple as that. No matter how big is the question, when you want to calculate cost of convertible debt, cost of convertible preference share, or cost of redeemable debt, or cost of redeemable preference, whatever it is, just go ahead and calculate internal rate of return. It's as simple as that. Move on from here. So we want to calculate cost of redeemable debenture. So I will then come here. Step 3, calculating cost of redeemable. If I'm the one solving it, I don't need to call it redeemable. All right, I will just say calculating cost of debenture. But for the purpose of this class, so that you will know which one we are calculating cost of redeemable debenture, denoted as KD. And we said that to calculate cost of redeemable debts, you are supposed to calculate internal rate of return. So let me go back to what we have done previously. Let me just copy a table that will enable us to do that quickly. Yes, this is one table. Yes. Okay, let's copy this table and use so that to be faster. Time is fast spent. Just now that we started. Okay, so I can then come here. All right. Okay. Assuming anytime you want to compose cost of capital using, or anytime you want to calculate internal rate of return under cost of capital, always start from 10%, okay? Always assume 10%, okay? So you start with 10%. If 10% gives you a positive NPV, you will increase to 15% to get a negative NPV. If 10% produces a negative NPV, you reduce to 5% to get a positive NPV. This is the approach. All right. Move on from here. So to calculate NPV, to calculate two opposing NPV, remember I said that anytime you want to calculate cost of redeemable debts, simply go ahead and calculate internal by assuming two discount rate that will produce two opposing NPV, that is a positive and negative NPV. Then step 2, you calculate cost of redeemable debts using the internal rate of return formula. That's all you need to do. Right now, we want to assume 10%. So we are going to use this 10% to calculate net present value. Let's see what we are going to get. So when you are calculating NPV, the first line item will be your current market value of the debenture. I will then go back to the question, what is the market value of this debenture? So let's go and check. According to the question, we are told that the market value of this debenture, we are told that the debenture, which are redeemable at par in 2 years' time, with a current market value of 105 naira 30 kobo. So the market price of this debenture is 105 naira 30 kobo. I will then come here, right? In year 0, the value at year 0 is always in brackets, okay? 0.3. Now, you can see here, I put 105.3. You can only do this. Pay attention. I want to bring out something. That's what I have to write it down. Now, this is your current market value in year 0. Must be X interest price. The value you are going to put in year 0 must be X interest price. Interest must have been paid before you consider the market value of the debt. You can confirm from this question whether debenture interest has been paid or not. So if debenture interest has not been paid, that means we cannot use 105.3. We need to convert it to X interest price. You see the way we are making adjustments line by line. That is what is expected of you. If I'm the one solving this question since, I would have moved to the third or second question. All right. But because I have to explain, so that's why I'm taking my time to do this. All this explanation, I've done it before. I'm also repeating it now when we are solving questions. So now you are told in this question that debenture interest are due to be paid soon. The company has not paid debenture interest. So it means that this 105.3 is cum-int price. You don't use cum-int price to calculate cost of debt. You have to use X interest price. Therefore, we need to convert this 103.5 to X interest price. So how do you do that? It will then be the cum interest price of 105.3 minus the interest rates. The interest rate on this debenture is 10%. So the interest that the company will pay will be 10% of 100 naira, which is 10 naira. So it will be 105.3 minus 10 naira. So let's go and do working for that. So this is what I wanted to write here before. So I can copy this. Okay. All right. So this is the cum interest price. Cum interest price minus interest. All right. So according to the question, the market value of the debenture is 105.3 minus the interest. The interest is 10 naira. Okay, that is 10% of 100 naira. Remember what I told you, debt is always quoted at 100 naira per unit. So when you minus that, that will give us 95.3. So it is this 95.3 we are going to use to calculate your cost of debt. So I'll then come here. Here will be 95.3. So you must understand the basics. That's why I'm taking my time. Now, the next thing we need to do, the next cash flow will then be the fixed interest. All right. So in this question, first thing first, this is redeemable debenture. When are you going to redeem this debenture? We are told that it will be redeemed in 2 years' time. All right. We are told it will be redeemed at par in 2 years' time. Therefore, this company is supposed to pay interest from year 1 to year 2. Okay, the company will pay interest from year 1 to year 2. We are coming back to that. Then, at the maturity date, at the end of year 2, this debenture will be redeemed at par. Here will then be the redemption value. We are redeeming it at par. At par means at 100 naira. Debt is always quoted at 100 naira per unit. So the par value is 100 naira. If it's at a premium, it will be more than 100 naira. If it's at a discount, it will be less than 100 naira. So you need to know all of this. So how much is the interest are we going to pay? Interest is 10 naira. However, ordinarily, I'm supposed to put 10 naira here, but I can't do that because in this question, we are given company tax rates. So if you are given company tax rates, you can't just use the interest like that. You need to use post-tax interest. What you are going to put here must always be post-tax interest or after-tax interest. So let us go and convert this 10 naira to post-tax interest. That will be working number 7. Okay. Working number 7. This is working number 8. No, number 7. All right. Then working number 8 now, post-tax. We can call it post-tax or after-tax interest. So how do you calculate post-tax interest? This is computed as interest multiplied by 1 minus tax rate. Okay. All right. Interest multiplied by 1 minus tax rate. So according to the question, our interest is 10 naira. Tax rate is 40%. So that will be 1 minus 0.40. Okay. So interest is 6 naira. After tax interest is 6 naira. All right. So that's what you are going to use. This is working number 8. You must know the right thing to do at the right time. So come here. So instead of 10 naira, it will be 6 naira. That is what we call post-tax interest. This guy must always be post-tax interest. All right. Now, pay attention to this, please. This is very important. Ordinarily, The next thing we are supposed to do is to determine the discount factor. Discount factor for year 0 is always 1 at any discount rate. Discount factor for year 0 is always 1. Because the next one is fixed interest, and our interest of 6 naira is fixed. The same interest is what the company is going to pay for the next 2 years. However, your interest payment will be consistent with the patterns of your tax liability. In this question, examiner has told us that tax is payable 1 year in arrears. You are told that tax rate is 40% and it is payable 1 year in arrears. This simply means that there will be 1 year lag. The interest of the first year will be paid in year 2. The interest of year 2 will be paid in year 3. That is the implication. Therefore, the annuity factor that you are going to calculate, the annuity factor that you are going to put here must be consistent with that. So instead of you to calculate annuity factor of year 1 to 2, it will be annuity factor of year 2 to 3. All right. Why? Because examiner has told you that tax is payable 1 year in arrears. If I have to give you this question as an assignment, I'm very sure majority of you will fail it because your mind will not be there to make adjustments to go and do year 2 to 3. You just do year 1 to 2, then you move on, thinking that, oh, I've keyed that question, right? So you must know the right thing. That's what I have to select this question to make some adjustments. When you look at this question, is similar to the one you have in your material, which is Abakaliki, right? But this adjustment is what made this one to be more technical relative to the one you have in your learning materials. I've also shared with you in your group sometime last week. In any case, I will reshare it again. Now, so because this interest is payable 1 year in arrears, consistent with the tax rate, consistent with the tax liability, in that case, there will be 1 year lag. That's why we are starting from year 2. Instead of you to start from year 1 to 2, we are going to start from year 2 to 3. That's what we need to do. So at this point, we need to go and calculate annuity factor of year 2 to 3. This is very straightforward. I can just carry my calculator to say, okay, at 10%, discount factor for year 2 is 0.826. Discount factor for year 3 is 0.751. I will add the two together. I will get 1.578, 1.577. So I will put it here. But what if you have longer maturity date? Maybe you have 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. Are you going to be doing it one by one? So let me show you how to calculate annuity factor when you in between years, because we want to calculate annuity factor between year 2 and year 3. How do you do that? So let me show you how to calculate it. Let me copy this table. I will need it. That will take us to working number 9. All these little workings, you can just ignore some when you are, by the time you become master. So you don't need to be, I can't be doing working number 9, maximum 6. I will know what to do. So just move on. However, here we want to calculate annuity factor. So I will come here, annuity factor. Why are you calculating annuity factor? Annuity factor is computed when you have constant cash inflow. All right. When you have constant cash inflow, instead of you to be doing it one by one, simply go ahead and calculate annuity factor. Let me copy the formula I've written before for annuity factor. I've written it down somewhere before. Did I? I think so. Annuity factor. Where are you? Okay, it's there. This is the formula for, let me just copy only this. This is the formula for calculating annuity factor. This is one of the advantages of using this Word documents. Even though my work is now faster. So I will then come here, annuity factor, which is AF, is computed as 1 minus 1 plus R, raised to power minus n, then divided by r. R is the discount rate. Okay, we are assuming 10%. So R is the discount rate of 10%. Then N is the maturity date. We have to, so our number of years. Then, of course, I can just copy this. So I'll come here. I don't need all of this. Okay, I don't need this ones too. So annuity factors for, we are starting from 4 years. Now, to get annuity factor of year 2 to 3, first thing first, you need to calculate annuity factor of year 1 to 3. You then deduct discount factor of year 1. The difference will then be annuity factor of years 2 to 3. So this is what I'm saying. We calculate annuity factor of year 1 to 3. All right. So to do this, I'll just copy this. This is the formula. Then at 10%, this is at 10%. We're assuming 10% first. Okay. So 1 minus, open a bracket, 1.10%. So 1.10 raised to power minus n. N is 3 years. Then divided by 0.10. Okay. So what do you have here? Use your calculator. What's your answer? This will give us 2.487. Confirm. Right. So you then calculate discount factor. All right. You calculate discount factor for year 1. Okay, let me show you formula for discount factor. Discount factor is computed as 1 plus r raised to power minus n. That's the formula for discount factor. Let me put it here for you. So you use discount factor is used if you are calculating for each year. But when you want to calculate cumulative discount factor, then you need to use the annuity factor to do that. Okay. Equal to, let me remove both. All right. There's no 1 here. So that's that. So I will then come here. Let me just copy what I have inside here. So discount factor for year 1 at 10% would then be 1.1 raised to power minus 3. This will give us 0.751. Sorry, for year 1, 0.909. That's it. So give me the difference. The difference would then be annuity factor of years 2 to 3. That's it. It's no more than this. So give it to me. What?
1.578.
1.578. So this is how to calculate annuity factor in between years. All right. Let me remove this. I don't need it. Let me bold the answer that we need. All right. So I will then go back there. 1.578. There will be 1.578. Like I told you the other time, if you want to be doing it 1 by 1, that means I will calculate discount factor for year 2, which is 0.826. Discount factor of year 3, 0.751. I will add the two together. I will get 1.577. All right. But what if you have longer maturity dates? Are you going to be doing it 1 by 1? That's why you have to adopt the method I just showed you now. Okay. Then discount factor for year 2 at 10% is 0.826, 0.826. That is 1.1 raised to power minus 2. You are going to get 0.826. I believe you are using your calculator at your end to be confirming the numbers. Don't come and ask me how did I get 0.826 or 1.578. You are expected to use your calculator where you are and confirm it and check it the way we are doing it. You follow through. All right. So to now get the NPV, to get the present value, you need to multiply. All right. You need to multiply the cash flow with the discount factor. All right. So that's that. Then 6. Give it to me, Nancy. 6 multiplied by 1.578. What do you have?
9.468.
9.46. That's 9.5 to 1 decimal point. This one will be 82.6. 82.6. Therefore, to get the NPV, you are going to add up the positive present value, 9.5 plus 82.6 equal minus 95.3 equal. What do you have there? Give it to me quickly.
3.2. Negative.
Negative 3.2. So we assume 10% and we got a negative NPV of 3.2. You then need to reduce your discount rates from 10% to a lower discount rate in order to have a negative NPV. Therefore, sorry, to have a positive NPV. So let's assume 5%. So I will then come here, 5%. So somebody should give me, okay, let's go and do it together. Let's calculate annuity factor. Let's calculate annuity factor of years 1 to years 1 to years 2 to years 1 to 3, and then we deduct discount factor. So yeah, let's come down in the same table. This one is at 10%, sorry, 5%. So just copy this. Copy whatever you have here. Put it here. That's it. Let me adjust this. So here is 5%. So here will be 0.05. Somebody should give me an annuity factor of years 1 to 3 at 5%. What do you have?
2.723.
723. Okay. Then discount factor for year 1 at 5%, 1.05 raised to power minus 1.
0.952.
0.952. 0.952. So here should be minus 1. All right. So what's the difference? Find the difference for me.
1.71.
1.771. So that is the annuity factor of years 2 to 3 at 5% discount rate. So this is working. This is working. This is also working. All right. So 1.771. So here will be 1.771. Somebody should multiply for me.
10.6.
10.6. Here is 10.6. Here is 95.3. So the discount factor for year 2 at 5% is what? 1.05 raised to power minus 2. What do you have? That would be 0.907, right?
Yes.
Is it? All right then.
Yes,
So
sir.
when you multiply with 100, that would be 90.7. So add it up. 10.6 plus 19.7 minus 95.3. What do you have there?
6.
What do you have? 6.
6.
Now that you have two opposing NPV, we assume 10%, we had that produce negative NPV of 3.2. Then we also reduce it to 5% discount rates, and we got a positive NPV of 6. Now that you have two opposing NPV, we can then proceed to calculate cost of redeemable debenture, which is internal rate of return. Okay? Therefore, to calculate internal rate of return, it is calculated as A. A is the lower discount rates. All right? A is the lower discount rates plus net present value of the lower discount rates over net present value of the lower discount rate plus net present value of the higher discount rates, all multiplied by higher discount rates minus lower discount rate. So we assume 10% and 5%. 5% is lower, so here will be 5. NPV of the 5% is 6 naira. 6 naira. All right, divided by 6, then plus NPV of the higher. NPV of the higher is 3.2. So higher discount rate of 10 minus lower discount rate of 5. So final answer, what do you have here? 6 divided by 9.2 equal, multiplied by difference between 10 and 5, which is 5, equal, plus 5 equal. What do you have? Give it to me.
8.26.
Is equal to what?
8.26.
8.26%. So it means that cost of redeemable debenture is approximately, the cost of redeemable debenture is approximately 8%. Okay, so we have calculated cost of equity to be 21%, right? We calculated cost of preference share to be 18%. We have also calculated cost of redeemable debenture to be 8%. You can then go ahead and calculate weighted average cost of capital. Let me copy formulas.
Please, sir.
Yes, talk to me.
Sir, please, that the annuity you just taught us now, the one in between years, is it compulsory that we calculate for it using a table?
No, you can just do your workings. It's not compulsory. Just to have good presentation. That's why I have to do it that way. You have to do, you can do it separately.
Okay.
It's not compulsory, provided you know what you are doing. So, yeah. Okay. So step number 4 now. This is step number 3. Then step number 4. We are calculating. What's wrong with you? Don't waste my time. So step number 4 now. We then say calculating weighted average cost of capital, denoted as KW. Don't go and be writing WACC on the day of your exam. In the first instance, you have to write it out in full, calculating weighted average cost of capital. Don't go and be writing WACC. All right? So now, how do you compute your WACC? Remember what I told you. Your WACC should be computed using the market value method. Don't use book value except examiner asks you to use book value. It has to be market value at all time. You can see in this question, examiner did not ask you to use any method. So you have to use market value to calculate your WACC. So to calculate WACC, WACC is computed as value of equity equity plus value of preference share plus value of debt multiplied by cost of equity plus value of preference share over value of equity, over value of equity plus value of preference share plus value of debt multiplied by cost of preference share plus value of debt over value of equity plus value of preference share plus value of debt multiplied by after-tax cost of debt. That is the formula for calculating WACC. Whether you are using traditional method, whether you are calculating traditional WACC, specific WACC, or weighted average cost of that you are going to use, except that, all right then. So quickly, let's complete this question and move on. So we have calculated market value of equity before to be equal to 525,000 naira. Okay. We also calculated cost of equity to be equal to 21%. Okay, so we need to have the debenture. We then get the total value. So let's go back to our workings we are doing before. So we have already calculated working number 7, which is market value. We have calculated market value of equity. We've not completed, all right, this is for equity. So X dividend share price, we have calculated it to be 0.34. 0.34. That's what we calculated in working number 4 here. Okay, yeah. So when you multiply that, this will give us 34,000 naira. So value of preference share is 34,000 naira. Let me put it down, push it down. Then I will bold it. Again, we also have the debenture. So we need to calculate market value of the debenture. So which is debt value? We say debt value denoted as D is computed as nominal value. You already have this in your notes. I've given you before, all these formulas. Nominal value multiplied by X interest price. Let me copy this. Multiply by X interest price. You know, so to undertake online, it's more challenging than the physical class. If it were to be physical class, I would have finished this question since, because all this thing I'm writing down, I'll just write it on the board, I'll do the explanation, then we'll move to the next one. But in any case, I'm enjoying it, okay? I'm enjoying it. So, provided you understand what we are doing. And the good thing is that, of course, you can always go back to your videos and then watch all. Sorry. It's network that pushed me out. Let me go back. Let me reshare. In the next 5 minutes or thereabout, we'll be done with this so that we can start another question. Wherever we stop, we continue next time. So, what is the nominal value of this debenture in the balance sheet as given to us?
200,000.
What's the nominal value? You say it's what?
200,000.
200,000. That is the nominal value of the debenture. 200,000 naira. So here is 200,000 multiplied by X interest price. We have calculated X interest price to be 95.3. Okay. Let me show you. Where is that again? This is it here. X interest price. That's the X interest price. Okay. So value of debts will then be equal to 0.953 multiplied by 200,000. What do you have there?
190,600.
Yes.
190,600.
190.
600.
190 what?
190,600.
Thank you. All right. I don't know whether it's my network. Okay. So that's that. That's the market value of the debenture. So finally, we then calculate the total market value. Total market value is calculated as value of equity plus value of preference share plus value of the debenture. So instead of you to be doing it one by one, so calculate total market value. So that will make life easy for you. All right. You are not going to struggle when you are putting in the formula there. So I will then come here. So value of equity, we calculated 525,000. Value of preference share, we calculated 34,000. Value of the debenture, we calculated 190,600 naira. So what do you have? What's the total?
749,600.
When you add it up, what do you have?
749,600.
749,600. That's the total. 600. Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Now, I can go back to my calculation. So, the total value of equity, preferential, and debenture is 749,600 multiplied by cost of equity. Sorry for the break in transmission, and then thank you for waiting behind. So let's quickly complete the question. All right, let me reshare with you. Working notes. Okay, so the total value is 749,600. Cost of preferential, we calculated 18%. Then value of the debenture is 190,600 naira. Total value is 749,600. After tax cost of the debenture, we just calculated 8%. So there is no need, because we have calculated, we've already adjusted for tax before we arrived at this 8%. Remember, we use 6 naira instead of 10 naira. So we've already adjusted for tax. We have calculated post-tax interest. Okay, we calculated post-tax interest. This is it here. So we've already adjusted for tax. So when you are calculating your work, there's no need for you to come and put 1 minus tax again. There's no need for you to say 1 minus tax again. All right. So when you do that, that means you are double dipping. You are treating tax twice. So that's why I just put it there. Then give me from the left. What do you have from the left?
14.71.
525,000 divided by 749,600 multiplied by 21. What do you have there?
14.71.
14.71.
plus the one in the middle.
0.8.
0.8282.
0.82%. Then the last one.
2.03.
2.03.
Yes. 19600 divided by 7496. I didn't get that.
2.03%.
2.03%. So add the three of them together. What's your final answer?
17.56%.
14.71 plus 0.82 plus 2.03. Final answer?
17.56.
17.56. Therefore, examiner is asking you in the question, you are to advise the management of Courage PLC on the appropriate cost of capital to use for its investments. So your answer, your final advice should then be Courage PLC. Okay, Courage PLC should use a cost of capital of 18%, or should use 18% cost of capital of 18% for its investments. Okay, that's what you are going to say. If you do your calculation without advising the company, should use cost of capital. So without advising, then of course, if you are lucky, examiner can give it to you. But examiner, the requirement is for you to advise. So you must advise. All right. So this is a complete question on how to calculate traditional WACC. We calculated cost of equity, cost of preference share, then cost of debt. All right, before we then calculate weighted average cost of capital. Now, here I use formula to calculate my WACC. I can decide to use tabular method. Okay, I can decide to use tabular method. Whichever one I use, I'm still going to get the same answer. Let's say, for example, I want to use tabular method. Let me just copy this, type value cost of capital hash total. So let me just demonstrate that for you. Anyone that is more convenient for you is what you should use. However, I will advise you get used to the formula, because as we proceed, you are going to be using the formula, not this table. All right. So to do this, let me just put it down. Alternatively, tabular method, the table below can be used to calculate the WACC. Okay. So to do this, you are going to create a column for the type of the security. Then you have column for value. It could be book value or market value. Then you are going to have a column for cost of capital, the cost of individual capital that we have computed. Then you are going to have a column. You have a column for hash total. Okay. So it's as simple as that. Let me remove all of this. So, of course, this will be in Naira. This is in percentage. Your hash total. So, the first security is equity, ordinary share capital. We calculated market value of ordinary share to be 525,000 Naira. We calculated market value of the 6% preference share. Okay, 6% preference. Preference share to be 34,000 naira. We also calculated 10% debenture to be 190,600 naira. Of course, we then calculate. When you add it up, we got 49,600. Okay, that's the total. Let me expand this. Then we also calculated cost of equity to be 21%, which is the same thing as 0.21. Cost of preference share, we calculated 18%. The cost of the debenture, which is 8%. So when you multiply, give it to me. 525 multiplied by 0.21. What do you have?
110,250.
110,250.
250.
And 34,000. 34,000 multiplied by 0.18. What you get? Yes.
6120. 6120.
6120.
Oh.
Okay. Then the third one, 190,600 multiplied by 0.08.
152.48. 152.48.
152. 152 what?
48. 48.
48. Oh, okay. 15,248. Okay. So add it up. What's the total?
131,618.
131,618. All right. Can then proceed to calculate my work. I will then say work. Let me just copy this. Work is calculated as, don't waste my time. Let me copy the one in the middle. Get out. I don't need it again. So work is computed as hash total total value. So it could be total market value or total book value, whatever it is, depending on the method you are using. So in this case, let me just copy. It will then be equal to, work will be equal to hash total of 131,618 divided by total market value of 749,600 multiplied by 100%. So you should have the same answer as we have computed previously.
17.56.
So that's it. So you should 17.56, which is consistent with what we have done. So irrespective, you should have the same answer. That is that. Let me push this one down a little bit. So our work equal to 17.56%. Okay. So that's that. Let me see. So we cannot have another question again. So why using 18% when 21% is higher? Augusta. Why did you say that? Augusta, are you still there? Okay. One question with formula just too long. Okay. You'll be fine. So you're asking why did I use 18%, why 20% is higher, why 21% is it the same thing? 80% is cost of preference share, 21% is cost of equity. So they are not the same now. Augusta. All right, please. I know why you use 17% now. I don't know all this kind of question you're asking me. All right, so let me know if you have any question for me. This is where we are going to end today's class. All right, so we can solve another question again. Our time is almost up.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, please. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, sir.
Who's speaking?
Hello, sir.
I can hear you. Yes, talk to me.
Okay. Sir,
Talk to.
can you hear me, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, fine. This tabular format that you just taught us, if, for instance, under that cost of capital, I decide to write it out in percentage without dividing it by converting it to decimal, and I multiply, I'm going to have a higher figure for the hash total. And at the end of the day, I wrote my work as hash total all over total. I'll get the percentage directly. Is it going to reduce mark?
It's still the same, well, provided you are doing the right thing. So irrespective. Yeah. So what you are saying is that instead of doing 0.21, you just say 21. So we should make this
Yeah.
one to be higher.
Yeah.
Your total will also be higher. So you are still going to get the same thing. The only thing is, of course, there will be no need for you to multiply with 100% again.
Yes.
Do you get?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any question for me so that we can close the class? We can't go further than this today. So in our next class, we are going to solve one more. So I'm going to share with you on the group an assignment which you are going to do. All right. So I'll give you an assignment, you go and attempt. And then in our next class, we solve one more question on this. Yes, Amarachi, talk to me, please.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good evening.
And to that one's back, sir. So, in the question, we are told that the interest is paid in arrears, yes. What if, is there any,
Yeah.
can we have a case where it is paid in, when it is paid in advance and how it can be treated?
Of course, now you can be asked that tax is payable in advance, which is not common. That's not common. So it's what when you are saying, for example, the tax you are supposed to pay in the first year, you are going to pay in year zero at the beginning. So in that case, so at the beginning, it should be when you know this can factor in year one. I mean, year zero, for example, is one, right? So there is a way you are going to trade that, which of course you are going to get your annuity factor at the end of the day. But like I mentioned, it's not common because in reality, tax is payable 1 year in arrears. Even in Nigeria here, you know, if you every company will report the profits that the company will report in 2025, for example, will be taxed in 2026. So there will always be 1 year lag. Profit of 2024 will be taxed in 2025. All right. But like you mentioned, is it possible that you can have in advance? Yes, it is possible. All right. So all you need to do, if you, for example, the interest you are supposed to pay in the first year, that means you are going to pay at the beginning, which should be in year zero. For example, The one you are supposed to pay in year 2, you are going to pay it in year 1 because you are paying it in advance. Like you normally pay your house rent. Your house rent is payable in advance because for 12 months you pay for 1 year. That 1 year before you even finish before you even move into the apartment, you've already paid. So that is in advance. So your discount factor in that case would be in year 0 for the first year. The second year payment will then be for year 1. So there will always be 1 year 1 year lag. In this case, instead of to be in advance. Yeah, but like I mentioned, it's not common. It's not common. ICANN has never even tested anything like that in the past. Yeah.
Okay,
So
sir. So, sir, to understand this 2 to 3 very well, can I go on, sir?
go ahead.
Okay, to understand that annuity 2 to 3. So what we meant is that the one that the interest that is supposed to be paid in year 1, they paid it in year 2. That's why we did that 2 to 3 years. You know, it was this thing is supposed to be redeemed in 2 years time. So I want to understand. I don't know what to do.
The line is breaking. I don't know whether it's my network. I can only hear the one in year 1, year 2. So repeat your question again, Amara.
Okay, under the annuity, calculating the redeemable debenture for annuity, you know, under that year we put 2 to 3. It was supposed to be 1 to 3 because based on the question,
Supposed to
the
be 1 to 2.
to 2, yes, it's 1 to 2 based on the question.
The
So
debenture
is it
is redeemable in 2 years' time. Yeah.
okay? Okay, it's because of the what the
1
payment
year
in
in
advance.
arrears.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
That's why we
Thank
did year 2 to 3. Yeah. Using these formats that Evelyn is asking, that is it compulsory they have to use this table? And I said, no, it's not compulsory that you have to do it this way. You can do it one by one. All right. You do for a 10%, you get your answer. You then go ahead and do for the second one, you get your answer. Yeah. But to make it look presentable, if you put it in the table, no worries. If you just do your workings like we did for any of these ones, so it's still the same thing, you are good to go. Okay. In the absence of no further question, I want to say thank you to
There
every
is
one of you.
Hello, sir. Sir, please, just this
What are you
last one.
saying?
Just this last one. What I
I
mean is
can't
that
hear you.
the question she just asked you now, sir, can you hear me, please? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
At what point do we have that annuity? For instance, in these questions that is showing 2 years, redeemable at 2 years. At what point do we have it as 1 to 2 instead of that 2 to 3? Is it when there is no tax rate in the question at all?
I've explained this. This is what I told you. Before we even begin this calculation, I mentioned it, that if in the question, that's what I even highlighted, I bought this one. I said that if in the question, examiner just gave to you tax rates, you are not told whether it is payable in arrears or in the current year. You are just given tax rates. In that case, there is no need for you. You are not going to calculate in arrears. You are going to calculate year 1 to 2, for example, like in this question, because this debenture is redeemable in 2 years' time. So you are supposed to calculate annuity factor of year 1 to 2. But because you are told that tax is payable 1 year in arrears, so there will be 1 year lag. So you have to do year 2 to 3. So the only reason that will make you to calculate year in between years, you calculate annuity factor in between years, is if you are told that tax is payable 1 year in arrears.
Okay,
Is it clear,
thank
Evelyn?
you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Yes,
If
very
in the
clear.
question you are not told tax is payable in arrears, you are just given company tax rates, no further information. In that case, you are going to treat it as the current year. That is, in our own case now, if this payable 1 year in arrears is not there, we are just going to calculate annuity factor of year 1 to 2. That's all. I think we did that in our last class too, where we have question on Austria PLC. No, because this Austria PLC, this question, this Austria PLC examiner has already given us the after-tax interest, sorry, after-tax cost of debt. So that's why we did not do that. But in any case, so that's what you are going to do. As we proceed, you are going to be seeing more of that. We are going to be seeing different kinds of examples, so you'll be able to gain more knowledge of that. Okay, Evelyn. Yeah.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
You are welcome. And you too. All right.
Thank you, sir. Sir, please, can you
Yeah,
help us
no,
send the link so we can go through it?
for sure, for sure. Immediately I will share. All right. So thank you, everyone. I will see you next time by the grace of God. Doing traditional work. Okay. So tomorrow I'm going to share with you your assignment that you are going to do for me for submission not later than this coming Thursday. Okay. This coming Thursday. All right. So good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Let's submit the assignment by weekend,
Thank you,
please.
sir. Good night.
You're welcome.
It's your business.
All right.